What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about rifle scopes, and I want to bust a myth that I see on the internet, on message boards, and on social media. So you'll often hear a lot of people saying that you need to spend a lot of money on good quality optics in order to be able to shoot long range. And I'm here to tell you that that is not true at all, okay? So I'm at the range right now, and this range goes out to 1,000 yards. And this particular rifle I'm shooting is a Ruger M77. It's a 300 Win Mag, and it has an Athlon scope on it. And this scope only costed me $600, and I've put hundreds of rounds through this rifle with this scope, and I've never had any issues with the tracking, never had any issues with the turrets, never had any issues with the zero moving. And I've taken this rifle out with this scope to 1,000 yards many times, and I've had really good groups at 1,000 yards with this scope. And this is only a 15 power scope at the max, okay? So I'm not running a 20 or 25 or 30 power scope. All right, at the top end, I'm getting 15 power. And even with 15 power at 1,000 yards, I've actually gotten a 1-inch group at 1,000 yards with factory ammo with this scope and this rifle. Factory rifle, medium range scope, okay, medium price range. And I've gotten a 1-inch group. Now, that's definitely not the norm. I would say that that's the only time, actually, I've ever gotten a 1-inch group at 1,000 yards ever. But it's really easy for me to get a 5-inch group at 1,000 yards with hand loads or factory ammo with this rifle and this optic. Okay, 5 inches at 1,000 yards. And I'm talking about a calm day when there's no wind. Okay, obviously if it's windy, I'm not going to be getting great groups like that, because even just a very slight wind will blow my bullets quite a bit at that distance. So I'm just here to tell you guys that you don't need to spend, $1,500, $2,000 on a scope in order to be able to shoot long range. And you don't need a custom rifle, even just a basic hunting rifle, decent quality hunting rifle like a Winchester Model 70, Ruger M77, Remington 700. Okay, decent factory rifle with a few modifications and a medium range scope, and you're going to be fine for 1,000 yards, okay? So don't listen to all the people out there that say, you need to get a Vortex Razor, or you need to get a Swarovski or Schmidt & Bender or Steiner, or a Night Force, You don't need that stuff. It's great to have, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to have good groups at long range, and it's not mandatory for long range shooting, okay? And this optic is on a hunting rifle. This is one of my main hunting rifles that I use for hunting deer and bear here in Pennsylvania. So I actually take this rifle out into the woods. It's not just sitting, in a case somewhere or in a safe. Okay, it's actually being used and carried frequently, and I've never had any problems with this scope at all, okay? So if you have the money and you want to drop $2,000 on a scope, by all means do it. But if you know what you're doing and you know what to look for when you're shopping for optics, even a $600 scope or $800 scope is fine if you're going to be going out to 1,000 yards. And I'm speaking to you from experience. I'm not a champion bench rest shooter or anything like that. I don't do PRS matches. I'm just a recreational shooter, but I do shoot long range frequently, several times a month, out to 1,000 yards. And I can tell you from my experience that you do not need to drop more than $1,000 to get decent quality optics that will get you out to 1,000 yards, you know. And is it good to spend $2,000 if you have the money? Sure. Am I saying that, you know, a $600 scope is going to be better than a $2,000 scope? Obviously not. You know, but you don't need that $2,000 scope. It's just like with cars, you know. You can get yourself a Toyota Camry and it's going to be just as reliable as a BMW, if not more reliable. Oftentimes those cheaper cars, you know, are more reliable than the fancy luxury cars. And, you know, those Mercedes and BMWs break down sooner than Toyota Corollas and Camrys and Tacomas. And I'm not saying that that's the way it is with optics, but, you know, you can kind of think of it that way. I mean, if you have a Toyota Camry, you're going to be able to drive. You know, you're not going to have, you know, leather seats and, you know, the best audio system. And, you know, you're not going to have that name brand on your car and everybody's going to see, oh, wow, he's driving a BMW. He must have money. You know, that's the same thing with optics. It's like, you know, you can get going with, you know, a mid-range scope and practice with it and learn how to shoot with it. Are you going to have all the same features of a $2,000 scope? No, but you're going to have probably 80 to 90% of the same features, okay? It's a law of diminishing returns, in my opinion. Just my opinion from shooting for so many years and testing different scopes. There's a law of diminishing returns when it comes to optics, and I think that line starts around $1,000. Once you go over $1,000, the law of diminishing returns kicks in, and you're going to be paying exponentially higher amount for slightly better glass and maybe slightly better magnification range and maybe, you know, a slightly better reticle. So you have the law of diminishing returns, you know, but in my opinion, you want to spend at least like $500 on a scope. You don't want to go cheaper than that. But, you know, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to share this with you guys. And if you want to check out more of my long-range shooting videos, I'll leave a link to my long-range shooting playlist in the top right corner. Take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.